Dang dude, I finally decided to get a job and nothing interesting is even happening. I mean, you got these weird looking robots moving around the place, but that's boring. When can something really interesting happen? Me and my big mouth.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go sleep little pet. Go to sleep, gone to sleep.
Well, nuts.
Time for you.
Does anybody still actively play Ultimate Custom Night anymore? You know, the game created in 2018 by this guy. The Fnaf equivalent to Smash Bros. Anyways, I'm honestly a big fan of voice acting and a few certain indie shows. I'm also looking forward to seeing a few new shows coming out soon, such as The Light of Music. Anyway, since I'm a big fan of voice acting, Ultimate Custom Night is chock full of it. But then I took a good long look at the game and thought, hey, which animatronic, in my opinion, has the best voice adapted to their character?
I'm sorry.
And that's what we're here to do today. So here are the main rules for the ranking. 1. This list is entirely my own opinion and taste, so I apologize if your favorite animatronic gets ranked low. 2. The list will go from the lowest tier as we progress up to the highest tier. 3. If the animatronic can kill you and anything plays at the death screen, it counts. 4. If the animatronic doesn't kill you yet has fully voice acted lines, then it counts. For example, Funtime Chica counts, while BB or JJ do not. Sound good? Okay, let's start the ranking in the just a noise tier. At the bottom we have At dead last we got this mangled up mess, Ennard. Now his mechanic is rather simple yet interesting. He travels through the vent system but he's not able to be seen. But once he's at your vent, he will make a squeaking noise, then just shut the vent. Now we're not here to talk about mechanics, although we will be saying each character's mechanic as we go, but voice wise, Ennard doesn't have much going for him. I mean, in sister location he at least has a voice. It's Circus Babies, but it's something. In Ultimate Custom Night all he has is dial up, so bottom tier he goes. Up next we got well, the main antagonist of the franchise. This guy even got put into Dead by Daylight after the community begged behavior for maybe 7 years at least. Anyways, I never really got the hype for this guy, so I never really cared too much for Springtrap. Looks like Ultimate Custom Night agrees with me. So Springtrap is another vent animatronic, like Ennard, which I forgot to mention. Both of them are not affected by the vent door, but Springtrap doesn't make a noise, but he peeks out the vent instead. Yet unlike Ennard, this goes for the next animatronic as well. It's a reference to the games. Next is yes, the second dial-up animatronic, Nightmare Mangle. Now Nightmare Mangle is one of the 3 plushie animatronics. Now there are only on this list. Nightmare Bonnie is out of the question, I guess, but these guys appear at your right door, yet closing the door will not work and they will break it down. Yet to counter them, whoever is at the door, by their respective plushie. Now Nightmare Mangle doesn't have anything to work with and sounds somewhat similar to Ennard, but it sounds more like Mangle's static in Fnaf 2. But that's all this goober has really. Next up we got yes, the cooler Daniel of Ennard, Molten Freddy. Now he's higher than the first 3 mainly because he, kind of, has an actual voice instead of noise. But first, his mechanics. He is another vent animatronic, who works similar to Springtrap and Ennard. Yet once he's at your vent, he does his laugh. And speaking of his laugh, it's the one used from Fnaf 6. Although better than what we've had, it's still not the best. Sorry Kellen Goff if somehow you end up watching this. Next up at the top of the just a noise tier, we have Now keep in mind, I didn't really like the fact that Freddy doesn't have a voice, yet once the now forgotten Fnaf AR came out, he actually got a fitting voice for his character. Mechanic time. He comes down the left hall, progressively getting closer towards your door. Once he's close enough, shut the door. He moves faster if the building gets warmer. Now he's at the top of this tier mainly because it may just be the nostalgia glasses coming on, but the Torida March is just classic. Next up we got
Today is all about me.
one of the most forgotten FNAF characters in existence in my opinion, Funtime Chica. Now Funtime Chica is a distraction character. She randomly pops up and shines a bunch of camera flashes in your face along with screaming in your ear about herself because she represents narcissism and pridefulness. And that's why you should always be humble. Especially humble yourself towards the Lord. You don't want to be Funtime Chica, don't you? Anyway, she goes in the bottom of C tier. C for somewhat normal because funny. Now next up we got
always come back.
Now I might be hated for this opinion, but design wise, I find Scraptrap cooler, not better because yeah, you understand what I'm talking about. But besides that I find him to look cooler. But anyways, his mechanic. He only attacks once per night, making a rear-piercingly loud banging noise, yet you need to shut the right vent then he goes away. Now although he only has one line, unlike in FNAF 6, but it's one of his most iconic lines in the franchise. I know the nostalgia glasses might be still on, but I'd rather have a reused line than Alright, next up we got
Let's see how many pieces I can cut you into.
Come on, how many times am I going to reuse this joke? The cooler Daniel of Circus Baby. Now like Scraptrap, I find Scrap Baby to be cooler than Baby, yet she does have a cool mechanic as well. Randomly once per night she will appear in your office slouched. There is a shock button next to her. Shock her when she moves, then she will disappear. Now although these two practically have the same voice, and I know she got more dangerous appearance wise and personality wise, but I just feel like she's a bit too edgy, if that makes any sense. I like her lines though, don't get me wrong. Next up we got Being honest with you, I'm trying to get this video done soon, but off topic, Jacko Chica design wise doesn't really scare me at all, but her lines are a whole nother different ballpark. The line you just heard was edited in because honestly, her lines in particular just disturb me. I'm not too big of a fan on fire, and I know half of her lines are supposed to be fire puns, yet the other half just disturb me, yet her mechanic is honestly funny to me. She starts to format both doors once the office overheats. To counter her, shut both doors once she's formed, or cool down the office. Next is
You won't get tired of my voice, will you? You won't get tired of my voice, will you? You won't get tired of my voice, will you? You won't get tired of my voice, will you? You won't get tired of my voice, will you? You won't get tired of my voice.
Need I say more? Anyways, for the mechanics, she works similar as she does in FNAF 2. Once she attacks from your left, throw the Freddy mask on. Dang dude, FNAF world gives me PTSD. Anyways, next up is
Hello. For today's lesson, we will be continuing our training on proper scene handling techniques.
our phone guy. What a cool guy. By the way, the nostalgia glasses are practically glued on at this point. Well, how phone guy works is that throughout the night, he will attempt to call you to distract you and make a large amount of noise. Failing to click the mute call button will force you to listen to one of the phone calls from FNAF 1 through 3. I think that's the possible phone calls you can get. Someone correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Anyways, next up we got
Excuse me, can you come a little closer?
two distraction characters back to back. Crazy, right? Anyways, when it comes to joke characters, I can't get enough of them, and Trash and the Gang is no exception. Anyways, although they don't have a description, how they work as distraction characters, Mr. Kandu will occasionally block a camera for a short while number 1 Crate and Bucket Bob occasionally pop up, ask you to come closer, and then blast your ears with bass boost. Comedy gold. Rip Pantstan. You will be forever remembered for your exclusion from this 7 to 8 year old game. Anyways, next up at the top of this tier, it's
Please deposit 5 coins. Please deposit, please deposit, please deposit.
Please deposit 5 coins.
the cooler Daniel of repetitive Fnaf memes. Okay, fine, I'll stop using this joke. But what I think is cool is that before Ultimate Custom Night, Rockstar Freddy was practically a throwaway character. No jump scare, just stuck in the building portion of FNAF 6. But when Ultimate Custom Night came around, he became the cooler toy chica, and in my opinion at least, less annoying. As I've said with Trash and the Gang, I love joke characters, and Rockstar Freddy has become one of my favorites in this game. Now moving on to the B tier. B for pretty cool because yes. Next up we have
The others are like animals, but I am very aware.
So next we have Jack Black. The puppet, and design-wise, Puppet is one of my favorites, yet the voice work done on Puppet, absolute cinema, perfect according towards the law, I think. Now honestly I wish the mechanic was a bit less bland. It's another mechanic taken from his debut game. He sits in the music box as it progressively decreases. You need to wound up the music box to prevent him from attacking. Yet the only twist on his mechanic is that the global music box also works against him. Honestly, Puppet is just a good middle ground. Alrighty, next up we have
Move over, Freddy Fazbear. Happy Frog is the new star of the show.
Kermit's family tree seems to be a bit janky because apparently they forgot to list her. Now Happy Frog is one of the 5 ducked animatronics. Now just because she's the first mediocre melody on this list, doesn't mean her voice acting is bad. Honestly, it's pretty goofy and honestly fits her. Now since she's a ducked animatronic, she attempts to get to your office through them. Well, no dip. Yet she's fully immune to the heater, so you need to use the audio law. Alright, let's go to the next animatronic. I just found Kermit's family tree and honestly it's pretty interesting.
What a fine day to come here and say that your face and flesh I must play.
Frank Sinatra. Anyways, I do enjoy me some good Frank Sinatra. I also enjoy me a bit of off-brand Frank Sinatra as well. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, Rockstar Bonnie. Now he's kind of got a little bit of a muffle to his voice, but it's just muffled enough to where you can still hear his lines. And they are weirdly edgy. Yet he does have a good mechanic. He will randomly pop up in your office, and you will be required to search the cameras for his missing guitar. Fail to do so and your run ends. It's cool that they gave the Rockstars a bit more personality though. Anyways, next up is
Now is my time to shine.
oh cool. Dumbo got a paint job, the second ducked animatronic on this list. Orville I feel has a pretty cool voice. Scott giving him a somewhat old man grandpa-ish voice was a good decision. Now as he's a ducked animatronic, he's going to go through them to get to your office. Yet unlike Happy Frog, he isn't fooled by the audio lure. You're going to need to use the heater for this guy. I also think it's funny that an orange elephant and a purple hippo are just having normal hangouts in nature. Alright, next up we got
Don't be afraid. Soon you will look just like me. Beautiful.
Alrighty, next up we got Mangle. Now Mangle works somewhat similar to FNAF 2, where this goober goes into the vents. Yet if Mangle gets through, even if a certain chicken gets stuck, Mangle is still able to get through and will be patient before ending your run. Now like Nightmare Mangle. Mangle has that radio static, yet it's implemented into the voice lines perfectly. Mangle has two heads. Mangle sounds like two people. Big brain plays Scott. Good job. Alright, next up we have.
It seems you couldn't make it to my show, so I brought the show to you.
Oh look everybody. It's Mr. Always Gets Death coined himself. Funtime Foxy. Now I've never really been a big fan of Sister Location. Yet honestly since he kind of gives off a actor, showman vibe in his voice lines. He honestly sounds like if Funtime Chica was humble and didn't have a rear piercing voice. Now Funtime Foxy chills out in his curtain, like Sister Location custom night, and will randomly pick a show time, 1 AM for example, and you have to be looking at that camera at the specific time or else you're on ends. Also giving him what seems like a megaphone filter is pretty cool. Okay, next up is.
I guess you forgot about me.
Honestly that is pretty true. Baby is a pretty forgettable character. For me at least. Yet she still has very good voice lines. Heather Masters does a really good performance in all 4 games Baby is in. Circus Baby is the second and last plushie animatronic on this list. Sorry again Nightmare Bonnie. To counter her, when she's in the right hall, by her respective plushie. Why did I forget Circus Baby you may ask? Well that's because, dummy, I haven't played a Fnaf game in like 2 years. Anyways, Sister Location reference aside, let's move on to the next animatronic.
These are strange circumstances that have brought us together.
Done dude, back to back Funtime animatronics. Now although I never cared for Sister Location, I always loved the voice acting. Yet if Funtime Freddy was in Ultimate Custom Night, I would have put him as the best voiced Funtime animatronic in this game. But sadly all we have left is Ballora. Now she's going to try to attack either your left or right door, also distracting you by screwing up your cameras to tell where she's coming from. Listen for her music box and shut the according door. Michelle Moss did do a wonderful job at voicing Ballora though. Alright, next up we got.
Let me show you how to break your face and look like me.
My second favorite Withered animatronic, Withered Chica. Now her design is honestly still a little disturbing 11 years after FNAF 2 came out. Her voice is also absolutely wonderful. She's the last out of all the vent crawlers, but unlike the other 4, she always takes the right path on the vent system. Yet if she gets to your vent, she gets stuck and everybody except Mangle gets stuck and can't attack you. Yet she will eventually wiggle free and end your run. The perfect balance between humorous and disturbing. Alrighty, at the top of the pretty cool tier, we got.
I can't run like I used to, but I can pull myself apart just fine.
Yeah, ha, fiddle dee dee. This old pirate sits at the top of the pretty cool tier and that's good enough for me. Now I think Foxy is a good example of how to remaster a classic mechanic. He chills out in Pirate Cove, acting how he does in FNAF 1. Yet if he gets out, each time you flip up the camera, he progressively gets into your office by building himself piece by piece. Also especially his voice is wonderfully done. Christopher McCullough is a really good voice actor, and honestly I think Foxy is his best role. Alright, at the bottom of A tier, A for wonderful cause misspelling lol, we have.
Yar, you win some, you lose some. Yarg, you play with fire and sometimes you get burned.
At first, I was tempted to use a YouTube clip for Ox to Foxy's jump scare, but I got it on complete accident. And that's why I like this animatronic, along with Joe Godette doing a really wonderful job on his voice. Even if Ox to Foxy isn't active, his parrot will fly through your office. If clicked, Rocks to Foxy pops up and gives you the option of getting 1% extra power, making the office 60 degrees, soundproofing the office, or even 10 Faz coins. Yet rarely if the parrot is clicked, he won't be so friendly and end your run. A classic case of the old switcheroo joke. Alright, next up is.
I have always been hiding in your shadow.
Oh crap. My bad. Anyways, Nightmare Freddy, coming from one of the best Fnaf games. Tim Simmons brought this guy to life with a wonderful performance. Now every now and then, a Freddle will spawn in your office. To counter them, simply shine your flashlight on them to make them disappear. Yet if 5 Freddles are in your office, then Nightmare Freddy will end your run. Don't really have much else on Nightmare Freddy. All that I really have is that he's Nightmare Freddy and I'm in your head. Okay, I'll stop. Alrighty, next up we have Slender Man, Nightmarian, or Nightmare Puppet, whatever suits your fancy, the poster boy of Ultimate Custom Night. I never really assumed that would be his voice, yet Ultimate Custom Night being out for this long now, I think it's kind of grown on me. Anyways, randomly in your office, Nightmarian will phase in near your mouse cursor. Don't keep it on him for too long or else he will fully phase in and end your run. Alex Led did a wonderful job on him. An unexpected voice, but a good voice nonetheless. Alright, next up is
a song was requested of me, and now I sing it.
Matt Pat reference aside, I do find Music Man to be one of the coolest designed animatronics out of all the games, and apparently he inspired the likes of freaking DJ Music Man and Big Tom. Overall, Music Man has become a loved character, especially his voice. I would have to say it's my second favorite in Ultimate Custom Night. Anyways, Music Man is constantly behind you, crashing his cymbals if your noise meter begins to fill. Don't be too loud or else Music Man will crash his cymbals faster and faster until ending your run. Matthew Curtis did a wonderful job on this guy. Anyways, next up we got
The Shadow Fears
the con artist, Mr. Night 7 himself, Nightmare. Now honestly, I did really expect just a deep, somewhat gravelly voice when this game first came out for him. I mean, come on. It's freaking Nightmare. Either way, Eric D. Ward did wonderful with Nightmare's voice. Anyways, he occasionally appears at the right doorway, unable to be seen by the camera. When he laughs, shut the door to send him back. I wanted to do another The Cooler Daniel joke again, but honestly it's getting old. Alright, at the top of the wonderful tier, we got Yes, you heard that right. At the top of the wonderful tier we got Righty, son of a gun. I meant Lefty. Lena Gwendolyn Hill did a wonderful job with his voice. Anyways, Lefty chills in the broom closet, progressively getting more aggressive as the building gets hotter, or there is too much noise. He's too far away from the music box to soothe him, but the global music box works just fine. Alrighty, we finally made it. S tier for Superstar. These fine late animatronics are, in my opinion, some of my favorites and the best voiced. Alright, for number 8, we got
Whoops, that's gonna leave a mark.
Guys, I think Yogi needs to go see a doctor. Anyways, don't you hate getting killed by obscure secondary characters? Well, that's what this guy is here to do. Honestly, I expected a more goofy style voice. Instead we got another southern character, which I love that accent for characters. Anyways, Netbear is similar to all the other duct animatronics. He goes through the ducts to kill you, but unlike both Kermit and Dumbo, Netbear can be affected by both the heater and the audio law. Honestly, I'm tempted to make a Fnaf game called An Extremely Goofy Jump Scare. Anyways, at number 7, we have
Come closer. Help me count my teeth.
Wait. Hold up. You're pulling my leg here. They made a variation of Balloon Boy, who doesn't sound like a gerbil eating rusty screws. Matthew Curtis at it again with another wonderful job. Anyways, Nightmare BB sits slouched in your office. When you pull your monitor up, he will have a chance to sit up and stare at you menacingly, and all you have to do is shine your flashlight to get him to sit back down. But if you use your flashlight when he is slouched, he will end your run. What are you waiting for? I'm not making another Cooler Daniel joke. Anyways, at number 6, we have
Thought
thought you could fool me with that sign, but I was too smart for you.
Well, yippee-ki-yay, we got ourselves here another one of them southern voices that I'm quite the big fan of. Anyways, another rockster, another cool interesting mechanic. Rockster Chica can either appear at your left or your right door, yet the doors won't counter her. You need to use the wet floor sign in your office. Double click the sign to move it to the opposite door. Honestly, mechanic wise, Rockster Chica might be my favorite. Alrighty, number 5, we have
That's what you get for leaving me hanging!
Alrighty, Toy Freddy has one of the most interesting mechanics in all of Five Nights at Freddy's history. Also, I love the fact that since he was so lazy in Fnaf 2, brother just full blown retired and took up gaming. Anyways, Toy Freddy sits in the parts and service room playing Five Nights at Mr. Hugs. You need to watch for which door Mr. Hugs is at, and shut the according door. But if Toy Freddy gets jump scared, you get jump scared. Anyways, at number 4, we have
I assure you, I am very real.
Zach Hoffman. Absolutely wonderful job on Nightmare Fredbear. I thought he was originally going to be another deep gravelly voice like Nightmare, but that added echo and tone made the voice absolute cinema. Anyways, like Nightmare, he can't be seen on the cameras, yet he attacks from your left doorway. When he laughs, shut the door to send him away. Honestly, this placement might have a bit more bias to it because Nightmare Fredbear was my favorite originally when FNAF 4 came out. Alrighty, final 3. It's time. You have your guess because, in 3rd place, we have
Even monkeys fall from trees.
Ah well, Yassi here. I don't know if I done did told ya about my likeness for southern characters, Yassi. Well, don't you know now? Why don't ya? Mainly cause I just tiggity told ya their pal. Okay, enough with all that. Pig Patch. He makes his way through the air ducts to send him away. Turn on the heater or use the audio lure, blah blah blah. Okay, enough. I'm sure you all know how duct animatronics work, but honestly I expected a southern voice for Pig Patch. And don't even get me started on how funny the freaking banjo solo is. That's why it's my favorite instrument. Alright, the final 2. Who's it gonna be?
I may be missing my face, but even I could see his tongue.
Well, looks like you didn't see that one coming. I mean, face it, Hans Suda gave a wonderful performance as with it, Bonnie. Well, make sure not to blink over this animatronic. I'm sure you can sense I'm running out of jokes at this point. Okay, this is getting too taxing on my sanity, so with it, Bonnie, randomly if you have your monitor up, he will attack you in your office by just standing there, menacingly, to scare him away. Put on the Freddy mask. Honestly, I wish the Freddy mask was used more. It's kind of a underused mechanic. Well, it's time to face the facts. The last character on this list is
It seems that you have met your end. What a pity. You know, I don't feel too bad about it, though. After all, if it weren't me, it would have just been one of the others, I guess. I'm honestly just glad to be out of those air ducts. You know, it's not easy for a hippopotamus to fit up there, and not easy to get down either, and not as young as I used to be, as you can see. I used to be able to do all the sorts of things. You're young, you're vibrant, you have that sort of pep in your step. It reminds me of a conversation I was having with one of my good friends, Orville.
You thought I was going to play that whole line? I would never. Also, honestly, if you somehow made it this far into the video, I don't want to waste any more of your time. Honestly, I don't think I have to say the mechanic of a duct animatronic for the 1000th time. Joe Godet, who voices both Rockster and Funtime Foxy, came running in and landing the top spot of this ranking with Mr. Hippo. Well, honestly, this video has dragged on long enough. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Let's end this video listening to one of his lines. Have a God blessed day and make sure to wash your ankles.
We were having a nice picnic one day. I believe it was summer. No, perhaps it was it the fall? Yes. It was the fall because the leaves had turned already. But I said to Orville, I says, Orville, I have a story to tell you. And Orville looked at me, kind of odd and said, what's it about? I said to him, not every story has to be about something, Orville. Sometimes a person just wants to talk. Why does everything have to be a story? I said to him. He just looked at me and he said, well, you said you had a story. And, he was quite right. I did, in fact. I told him I had a story. I suppose if a person just wants to talk, then it's best to not announce that you're telling a story. Telling a story does come with its own pressures and expectations, I suppose. After all, if you're just talking to a friend, and there's no more expectations than if you were talking into the wind. Words by themselves aren't expected to carry, aren't expected to stick. But if you announce you're telling a story, well then, there'd better be a point to it all, No one wants to sit and listen to someone ramble on and on and on with absolutely no end in sight. So, it's good to be mindful that when you tell someone that you're about to tell a story, that you have something to say. Telling someone that you're going to tell them a story is tantamount to asking them to stop what they're doing and pay attention. You're basically saying, hey, buddy, stop everything. Stop what you're thinking. I have a solution to everything. And, well, I didn't really have any story to tell. In hindsight, I probably just misspoke when I said that I had a story. I think it would have just been better to tell Orville that I wanted to tell him something rather than tell him that I had a story. But even then, it might have put too much importance on the whole thing. Either way, it was quite a nice day. I remember that we were drinking tea.